Good morning and welcome to the Capital Gang. I am Oscar Semoyamsoke with a bevy of topics, as Moses of the morning show would say. I had to literally kick them out of the studio. They enjoyed themselves so much after the Equity ladies' information regarding banking and schools. I hope you tuned in. Honorable Ofono Pondo is in the studio. You're most welcome to the Capital Gang, Ofono Pondo.
Good morning. I wonder why you are similar.
Yeah. Yes, it is just that I think your tastes have improved ever since you went to that August house. You are having a better taste. Clearly.
Since my daughters became adults and I take good care of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, say, Daddy, Papa, don't go to the shop.
Evidently, when they were still toddlers, you were doing very badly fashion-wise.
There's
a time we suffered here with overall.
No, overall was really a signature. And I tend to return to it.
To the overall dress?
Yes.
So, good you're here. Edgar Tabaro, your muscle.
Thank you so much. What do they call ovro in Uganda?
Ovro. So Edgar Tabaro is in the studio. Counsel, you're most welcome to Gang. Today I want us to talk about the judiciary, so good thing you're here.
I'm ready for it.
You're ready for it.
Obviously now saying the mass. The man has the mass.
Yeah.
In your language, we are called Jadong. Jadong. Yeah, I'm a Jadong. I'm happy to be here.
Our friend Louis Jadong, I've not heard from him in a long while.
Louis?
Yes.
Louis Jadong retired from the New Vision. He said he's doing private gigs.
He's doing private gigs.
It's good to be in the company of 007.
Yeah.
Not 07, yeah. 007.
Derek Wandera, you're in the studio. Most welcome to Gang. Once again, seated back on the other side.
Thank you, Oscar. I almost toppled you. I tested the chair, and I thought I should sit a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy to be this side.
I listened to you from afar, and I thought you did very well. You know, sitting in that chair, just containing Edgar Tabaro is hard work. Right?
I managed to contain the...
And I heard Abdul Katuntu using some unpalatable language. Yes.
Adjectives and...
yes, and Edgar was very, very strong on making sure that he withdraws. So you did very well, young man.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. You know, when you learn from the best, you do your best. So I'm learning from the best. I only have no excuse but to do the best.
Indeed, you don't have. We've given you a month of training when you've been off.
Absolutely.
And now you're back in employment.
Yes, I am back in employment.
Yes. But the TV is not showing yet. What's going on?
We are still. There's so many things that are being worked on right now.
Tell us more.
There was a few disruptions in terms of our networks and our wiring systems in there, equipment-wise and stuff like that. And we haven't, as staff, been able to access the premises up to now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we are working remotely. Yeah, but we for sure know that there's still some bit of deployment at the premises. Yeah, but we saw the letter from the president allowing us to go back into operation.
And so you're hoping to go back on air soon?
Absolutely.
What about the newspaper?
We are working. The TV is working now on the socials.
Yeah.
The paper, we have e-paper that's running right now. We published on Friday. We published yesterday, so yesterday for weekend. So we're going to also be publishing on Monday as well. Yeah.
What about management?
Management is in place. We've held several meetings that have ushered us back into formal employment. Words of encouragement, very, very useful, but also supportive management there to especially the young Turks that are there, who are trying to wade through this very, very murky waters at their tender age in terms of being in the newsroom. Some of us who have been here for a number of years, we can maneuver, but there are those that are just coming. They really are feeling the heat. But now that we are back, we probably are going to be able to go back to the life.
Okay, that's good news. We want a versatile media, and Ofonopono will agree with that. But in the studio, we have a deputy president.
Not the ilk.
Not the ilk.
Not the ilk of
Wandera.
Of the monitor.
We want the ilk of the monitor.
You fear.
But what is there to fear? Indeed.
Why would I fear you?
So why close him? If you are not fearing him, why close him? Well, then why close him?
No.
You know? Yeah. This is the whole point.
If you breach, you come for you.
But there are legal means to address that.
But also you're finding difficulty in
if it is not illegal,
working out what was breached.
Go and challenge that closure in court.
Anyway, the deputy president of the Law Society is in the studio. This is Radical. Go to the microphone. Mr. Anthony Asimwe, or AKA Asimwe Anthony, you're most welcome to the Capital Gang. We welcome you back.
Thank you, Oscar, and I'm happy to be here, as always. It's been quite a while, and thank you for having me once again.
And he's the opposite of the person he's deputizing. In terms of demeanor, mannerisms, I've interacted with him, and we're on the same WhatsApp groups. He's measured. He's radical but measured.
But isn't that what relations are like? I mean, I know some of your children, Edgar, they are not like you. They are really... They are not like you.
But I'm humbled to be in the presence of my vice president.
Yeah.
I didn't vote you people, you know very well, and I've always made the position clear. Yeah. But I think he's distinguished himself in the absence of the substantial president. He's acted with inspiring confidence.
Yeah. Do you see, Anthony Asimwe, do you see how they want to put you in a bottle? You know, even before you say some words, they cage you straight away. I see them. So I invited you to Gang mainly because of the trouble in the judiciary, and with specific reference to, at the time of invitation, to two people, Dr. Kiza Besigye, and then the second one, Mr. Mwanga Chivumbi. And then yesterday I saw a release of some more NUP people. So
from the court martial, not from the judiciary.
The court martial is not part of.
No. It's not a court of law. It's not a court of law. It's not.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's a court martial is actually a remnant of a repressive past.
Yeah. So in some ways, Tabari is with you, Anthony. In some ways, he's with you. But let's start with that.
In the history of democracy, in the evolution of democracy, the military is a subculture that has been preserved from a repressive past.
But Edgar, you don't need explanation. Just quote recent law. I mean, the court has squashed the military courts.
I didn't want to go into that depth. I'll leave it to my vice president.
Vice President Anthony Asimwe.
All right. Thank you, Oscar. I'm glad my senior here, we call them the senior members of the bar.
And Abdul Katuntu is on the way.
Yeah, who might not have liked our approach. I like the fact that in the recent past, majority of them are beginning to agree that sometimes you have to be radical. You have to apply radical measures to make a difference. Not that you do not engage, but certain things or certain approaches have failed to work. But specifically speaking to that aspect of the judiciary, I want to first take us back to... I carefully listened to the president's speech on the 4th of July, this month, I think, last month. And when you listen to his description of the judiciary, he's actually been consistent. In itself, it has so many aspects, so many things to look for. But for me particularly, it raises questions on whether we actually have the judiciary should be having, or the constitutional judiciary, the one envisaged under the Constitution, because the president was very clear. He actually described it as colonial, as ineffective, and while concluding, he said something that is why, the military, has to come in to cover the gaps. So it is so worrying in a way, because under normal circumstances, you'd expect the head of the judiciary, the Chief Justice, to come out and make his position clear, because, according to our Constitution, Article 128, the judiciary should be an independent arm of government. Now, if we have a country where even the president of the country does not believe in the judiciary, and that is the message he's sending out there, and then to make matters worse, you look at the happenings. You talked about the Dr. Kizza Besigye case, you talked about Mwanga Chivumbi, you talked about what is happening with the NUP supporters, with the NUP people who are released, and he said by the military court. I don't want to go into that right now. It shows you... Go to the microphone, yeah. Yeah, it shows you where, as a country, we're standing. Because if you went out there and you asked any ordinary person on the street about the integrity of the judiciary, whether they believe in the judiciary, the answers you will get, I can assure you, are more or less the same. No one wants to face our judiciary. Yet under normal circumstances, when you look again at Article 126, it should be an institution where people go for justice. But then again, remember, the ordinary people, it's not about explaining to them this is procedurism, this is what should be done. They want to see it being done. Now, this issue of the recent cases we've been having, Dr. Kizza Besigye and Obed Rutare, the Mwanga Chivumbis, the Erias Rukwagos, we are being put in a public lens, and even internationally, if you look at the outrage, it's an aspect where even a blind person can see that there's something wrong. Someone doesn't have to understand the law. We have a situation where our judiciary is, let's not even hide behind not being independent, but they've completely failed to do what they're supposed to be doing. Imagine right now, I'll give an example of bail. When someone gets bail, I represented Miriam Atembe in court. But we've reached a point where if someone is granted bail, everyone celebrates like it's almost impossible. Yet, it's a constitutional right. And they've made it so complicated that this thing called discretion, judicial discretion, is being abused. It's not that someone is entitled to an automatic, right, but the very basics. And we've had a judiciary which has allowed this to happen, which has allowed this interference. I was talking about the presidential speech, and he actually reduced it to Dr. Kizza Besigye's trial, saying, why is he refusing trial? This kind of judiciary, what are you doing? And that alone speaks to what is happening. Looks like they are bowing to the executive overreach, to the whims. If the president keeps coming and saying...
Simwe, if I tackle you on those, when people say, why is he refusing trial, what does that mean? Because it has been said for a while, and there must be some basis for it. In the same vein, because of what happened, because of Mayor Lukwago, maybe we thought he would not have lawyers, but the court assigned him lawyers, 2 lawyers, and I saw that the lawyers reported that the 2, Dr. Besigye and Mr. Rutaya, refused to accept them, but the court had given them. And then when they started that case, it said they have a team of, 50 lawyers and so on?
Oscar, maybe the listeners out there might not know this.
We don't, actually.
From the time Dr. Kizza Besigye was renditioned to Uganda, we, as the bar, we deployed people on watch, trial watch, even when he was still being taken to the military courts.
Trial watch means what?
Yeah, we needed to have, because of the issues that were surrounding the case and the nature of the case, and being our role as the National Bar Association, we needed to have people to watch the trial and give clear reports of the facts of what is happening. Because number one, we have interest in protecting the members of the citizens, but also the conditions of practice for our members, our lawyers. So from the time he was his case was transferred to civilian courts, and he takes plea, where Erias Rukwagos was representing him. He actually came and brought a petition saying, you guys here, we failed as the bar, we need your support, we need your input. So we said, well, we respect lawyers' autonomy. People have legal representation of their choice, because Article 28 clearly gives the person the right to have legal representation. It's an aspect of a fair hearing. But the legal representation we are talking about is legal representation of one's choice. The person has a right to choose a lawyer, to have a lawyer of their choice. So what happened was, when Lukwago, who was lead counsel, was also now arrested, and not actually, he's abducted, and then we see charges being slapped on him, misprision of treason relating to his client, Dr. Kizza Besigye. And then there's an issue of another lead counsel, Martha Karua, who, by the way, when she attempted to come, I think early January, to represent Dr. Kizza Besigye, we have a law counsel which had denied her that practicing certificate. They also came to the National Bar with a petition, and we stepped in because, number one, the Uganda Society had not participated in that decision. Number two, it is our duty, and we had to come on board for so many reasons. Number one, we had even started facing backlash. We have members of the bar practicing in Kenya who are being threatened that if our lawyers are being denied practicing in Uganda, what are your people doing here? And then so many fields. So Martha Karua gets the practicing certificate. Along the way, shortly after Lukwago has been, taken into the system, taken out, I'll use the word taken out, Martha Karua is coming into Uganda. She's denied entry. And I remember I'd actually gone to the airport to pick her because she had called out the National Bar Association again, and she's declared persona non grata, saying you cannot enter the country. Yet the reason for her coming is known. So that alone scatters the representation, the legal team for Kano Dr. Kizza Besigye and Rutare. Now, Kano Dr. Kizza Besigye, as the National Bar Association, when they reached out, we tried to use administrative means of, we want to exhaust. It's not that we are short of options, but we want to exhaust. Martha Karua reaches out saying, I've been denied entry and no reason has been given. We write to the necessary ministries and officials. Of course, we've not received any response. Now, in his wisdom, Dr. Kano Kizza Besigye files an application, I think a miscellaneous application number 248, and he wants court to determine the issue of his legal representation, because even the other lawyers you're mentioning, the 50, are now scattered. They're being threatened. Others have run out of the country. They are not safe. And the reason for that application is he wants court to intervene and make directions as far as the safety of his legal team is concerned. Now, the time I appeared in court when there was this kind of scenario, I reached court and there's no single lawyer for Dr. Kizza Besigye. I had also come on watch as the bar to see what's happening, because of, I think Dr. Kizza Besigye had petitioned us. He had written to the Law Society about his concerns. The family of Elias Lukwago had written. Martha Karua had written. So what we had to do as the bar was, this is concerning. Let's go and see, because it seems the integrity of this trial is in question. And that's the day I reach court and I see the judge, attempting to go into, we can give you lawyers on state brief. I also do state briefs, so many of them. But if I'm given a file... State
brief is when a judge has assigned you a job.
See, what happens when you have anyone who is charged with a case, especially semi-capital offense, there's that right of legal representation. And the provision of the law is that even a person who cannot afford services of a lawyer can be accorded defense or at the expense of the state. Now, it also doesn't take away the fact that the person has a right to choose lawyers of their choice. In fact, even on state brief, if a client is not comfortable with you, when they say, we are allocating this person, are you willing to represent? You can't talk to them, and the client is not comfortable with you. You cannot force yourself. You cannot represent that person. But then again, what you need to note is the fact that the court is now dodging the underlying issues which have been raised in as far as legal representation is concerned. Number one,
can a court dodge?
The court is no. You cannot run off from that, because number one, he's telling you, I have my lawyers of my choice. The only reason they are not here is for various factors which I want this court to resolve, so that they are able to come and represent me. But the court is dodging that. And what happens
as
now?
The judge can say, well, I've given you someone, now let's go ahead.
No, that is not possible. You cannot. Now that is a total breach of the... That's the total breach of the law. You cannot. And besides, even a lawyer, no lawyer can do that, because we owe a duty. Counsel here will tell you that is so unprofessional. You can actually be disbarred be taken to look. You cannot force yourself on the client. The client has to give you instructions, clear instructions, and by the instructions have to be clear. But now again on that issue, we see a challenge where the judge is saying that, I'm not out of that application, but I've given you, there are lawyers here, you proceed. And then such an application is again, allocated to another judge. A different judge, not the judge handling the matter.
I know we're not in the specifics of his case, of Mwanga Chivumbi case. But is it usual to have an accused in the dock? The events that led to his collapse. It's quite unusual to have, because usually when you're in the dock, you're saying your lordship and so on, and you're following instruction.
You see, I watched that video. I wasn't in court, and when you see the events leading to that, this is someone who is he's brave enough to fight for his rights. He's saying, no, you cannot proceed unless my rights are recognized, unless you listen to me. I have an issue, I have something to say. You must listen to me. The man is in court, he has no lawyers. That the state is saying we are proceeding, we have a witness, and please listen to me. And of course, it's so unfortunate that we see a judge, or we see a person who insists on proceeding with a trial, saying, no, we shall proceed, whether you have your lawyers or not, whether your rights are recognized or not. And that's what brings us really to the integrity we are talking about, and what any other person would see out there. If I know someone is entitled to a very, a quick trial, but then again, you cannot put ahead the hasteness of a trial at the expense of the other fundamental rights.
On the other hand, people who wish for a prosecution to happen, for them they would be telling, they'd be applauding the judge and saying, if it was a murder case and the family of some murder person would be saying, I want that case to proceed.
And Oscar, maybe let me also put it clear, even Messenger put it clear himself. He has not said, I don't want to be tried. Right. Saying, I'm actually ready for trial, very ready for trial. But the fundamental rights and procedures, my fundamental rights must be respected. I must be accorded a fair trial as envisaged under the Constitution. Okay. And what we are seeing is the judiciary itself taking away his right to a fair trial, because the result of a trial which is not a fair trial in itself is a sham. It cannot stand. And that is the only most important.
You're going into the merits. You're going into the merits.
The law professor is saying stop there. But what about Mwanga Chivumbi? Previously, there's a judge now who said he can be tried, because previously you'd have said I was tortured and now you can't go on. But now the judge, a recent case, has said that no, we can put that aside. That is correct.
No, we actually were outraged at that decision, and I think it's been appealed against. I don't want to discuss much deeper. But
whatever the outrage is,
that decision actually was the source of our strike on the 26th of June. That is why I said, no, we are laying down our tools because we are not satisfied. The country has moved a distance. If we legislated to prevent these aspects of torture and in pretrial detention, because they affect the very basics. You find people have been, the way they've been arrested. We've had now what we call police to prison pipeline, where people are actually not even arrested. The normal, we call them abductions. Then they are tortured, and then eventually they are produced in court, and we see these judges and magistrates receive them without putting any questions as to where these people have been, others with visible wounds. And then the Constitutional Court comes up and says, that provision of the Human Rights Enforcement Act is unconstitutional. Yet it was really meant to protect the citizens against this kind of overreach. So that means that these security agencies will do whatever they want because we've seen it. They didn't look into why was this legislation made. It wasn't really saying people should be set free, the public interest they're talking about, but to prevent
it is kind
those
of international.
happenings. Yes. And we're as Uganda are signatory to all these international covenants. Actually, what we are trying to do was domesticate these international covenants. And now, of course, the judges are now protected, saying, no, whether you've been tortured, whether you've been beaten, whether you're brought with your eyes are out, your hands are cut down, and the time you are arrested, you are okay. It is okay. The trial can still proceed. Now, that notwithstanding, under normal circumstances, the judge has a duty to inquire into some of these happenings. And you notice most of the challenges we have when we're having these trials. Some people even end up making admissions and admitting to having committed offences out of these treacherous activities.
Okay.
Now, for me,
so just finish that off and
our concern really is the way our judiciary is now being blind to all these aspects of human rights abuses and not respecting the personal dignity.
Thank you.
And say we are making justice. Is that really justice?
Thank you. That's Anthony Asimwe, the Vice President of Uganda Law Society. Before we get the law professor here coming in, let's get Ofono Pondo, the Honorable Ofono Pondo. I know you're itching.
I'm itching.
But let me first get Honorable Ofono Pondo.
Once.
Hey, you learn to be patient.
For once. And the other person told the other person.
Yes.
I'm not interrupted anybody. I'm only waiting for my turn.
Yes.
But I'm itching.
This is Honorable Ofono Pondo. Our tongues have learned to call him Ofono Pondo. Honorable for us, the elderly. So the judiciary, is it the judiciary also on trial with these particular political cases?
I've never had a lot of respect for lawyers, let me say so, in general terms. Because, and remember this, sometimes I say they are liars, not lawyers, liars. They are liars. They use, I think who said it? They use legalese as a refuge.
Honorable, I know MPs can speak lower, but you're going to have to raise your level to the previous before Honorable.
Yes,
all the signals are showing the voice is low.
Someone who uses legalese as a refuge will say amounts to a scoundrel.
Scoundrel?
Yes. Many of you are. You have to really cheat your clients and so. The BCG issue, I think BCG has succeeded, and his team of lawyers and sympathizers have succeeded in framing their predicament as political, not legal. Obviously, abated by the actions of the state actors. And so, it is difficult to see how the state, including the judiciary, extricate itself from that framing.
I thought about that. So
yeah,
I thought so. They are like also stuck in his case. A judge cannot recuse himself at this stage.
He can.
Yeah.
But what are the other state actors?
Yeah, the law professor is shaking his head and writing down.
What are the other state actors? I don't know how cases are assigned to judges. I would suppose that probably in this case, the principal judge looks at the judges he has and says, this one is the most suitable for this case. I don't know if he does consultation high up, for example, with the Chief Justice. I don't know whether they sit as a group and then they allocate cases. I'm not familiar with their system.
I mean, presumably they come to a good decision.
Yeah. I remember the other state actors. How about if you are called for a cup of tea and say this is the case, this is the person who want to handle this case, and they say this is how we want you to handle this case. So that's why I'm saying Kizza Besigye's team have succeeded. If you have prominent people in the state actors, somebody said, I will hang you by this date, and a tree in Mulanda. What do you expect this judge to say? You need to be bold in the circumstances to say, no, I'm not going to listen to this case, allocate it to another person. I think that's where we are. The silence you see in the country is so loud that it's not silence anymore. What is going on? And nobody wants to talk about it. Those of us from the NRM,
Those from PLU.
Those whole day you have seen how they have been handled. So I think it's a very unfortunate situation. Very, very unfortunate that no one in the judiciary, including the Chief Justice, maybe in his chambers has called his judges and they have discussed this, but I see that all of them are pandering to the whims of the powerful of the moment. This is what I see. And so I think probably it's not fair to criticize Justice Baguma or the judiciary for that matter. I have said on this show before that there is I don't know whether I call it an article, but not long ago in the 18th century. The end of the law, the beginning of politics. The end of the law, the beginning of politics. Politics is the main thing, is the most powerful thing. You can have the law and people disregard. And so, I think that's where we are. So you cannot remove Kizabesije, Mwanga, Kibumbe, and so on. Of course, Kizabesije and his team sought from the word go that they would make this a political issue. They reject when we wrote the law in the court martial.
Oh, stay on the microphone.
Kizza Besigye was with us, was in government, and they applauded the court martial. They used it while it suits them. Now, yes, while it suits them. Why is Kizza Besigye so proud to call himself Kano and does not believe in the court martial? So, I think that he rejected the court martial. He was brought to the civilian court. Isn't it the same antics he's playing? And I want to say again, aided by the actions of the other state actors. You remember from the word go, Kizza Besigye and his group, they said he was too ill to stand trial. I had thought we would have buried him long ago. But you can see,
he's still alive.
He's still alive. Lukwago came back with the same antics. I'm too ill to stand trial while I'm in prison. The media bought it. You, the political commentators, the media commentators, you bought into it. That these people are too ill by just looking at them by your eyes. But somebody who's too ill, you just don't look at him by her.
You use a thermometer.
There's a thermometer you use to determine that this person. So it is the same.
Dr. Besigye has now shown that he's ill.
No, except exacerbated by his actions. And now I want to come to that point. Yes, if you have been in the circumstances of Besigye, certainly you reach a point where you are frustrated and say, I can't take it any longer. Because you are asking, is it normal, is it usual for a suspect before a judge to bang tables, to hit tables with his papers, to fight with the warders, prison warders?
Call the judge.
We had here a man called William Manendea. He used to be a member from Budagi. He used to fight it because once he was arrested and taken to court for a traffic offense, he jumped over the table.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. William Manendea.
William Manendea.
He used to represent himself, actually.
Yes.
He would sack his lawyers.
Yes. He would change them. So he jumped over the table to beat up, to assault the magistrate for traffic offense. I think I'll be. So, if you're in basic circumstances and you still have some breath, some strength, that would be a natural flow of things that I think SJ is now willing to say, if you want to strangle me in this court, strangle me. I think out of frustration, he's dejected. I think that would be the right one. He's dejected. He can't take it anymore because he thinks, he sees that his trial is not, he won't get justice, even if he was to comply with the internal rules of the court. I think
Tabaro will not allow you to take that route.
Yes, and you know,
law professor will say now you are entering things.
No, I'm not in his group of lawyers, so he shouldn't rather. So I think any of us would do what we say, because he has seen
only the brave ones.
Oh yeah, the brave ones.
Because we've seen others being taken through that.
I think it's necessary for the state to step back. This government has compromised and they've been rewarded. And they've been rewarded. People who have done worse things than Kizza Besigye. I don't agree with Kizza Besigye. You can see. You don't even have to detect. You can see.
But you know, it's Tabaro's pet topic. When you are away, he keeps saying that as you were saying, I thought you were trained in the government. This government knows how to work with its enemies.
Yeah, yes. So you don't even have to say you detect. You used to use here the word hidden hand. If it is a hidden hand, so how are you seeing it? You can see. You can see the overreaching hand of people, powerful people in the state, who are saying, don't give that man a fair process. Yeah.
You know, something I asked Anthony Asimwe here with Mwanga Chivumbi, because this habit of kidnap, bring to police, then charge. So it's affecting cases.
I've been on that matter before when I said the president himself, president of Uganda, I said, of what evidential value is information obtained through torture, through unfair process, of what evidential value in the trial, what would it be? And the president has been on this in the media speaking, saying police, please don't torture people.
He gave directives in writing. He gave directives in writing.
I'm actually,
but nonetheless, they still do.
I'm actually.
Recently in speaking, he seemed to change his mind.
I'm actually among those who said that speech, as he referred to, of
4th July.
I said, was the president under a gunpoint? Was somebody for the president to make that speech?
Yeah.
As if he's validating.
Exactly.
Bizemo. When he said Bizemo, he said no, at least they come to court.
And I said, the NRM have had 40 years to build the instruments of the state. We used to say these policemen are UPC, judiciary, civil service. Now we can no longer blame anybody. And I said, if we have come to that point where we say 48 hours are not sufficient, which we know is not sufficient to pick preliminary, looking at the resources we have, human and technical. Let's go back to Parliament, amend the Constitution, and we say we are giving the police, arresting the agencies, probably 2 weeks to hold people in detention without producing them in court. After all, NRM has 71.6% in Parliament. We can persuade and say, in the following kind of cases, because we cannot have the same rule for all the cases anyway. It is absurd. You can't say a murder which is complicated should be treated, the defilement which is complicated, you have to go to medical facility.
But I see within the law you can still do it. You charge in 48 hours, then get asked for remand, then come back. I see it all the time. Within the law it's there.
If as NRM we think that the police is not good and now we want the military to come in, let us amend the law and say the military, or section of the military, is permitted by the law to arrest people. Yes, let's do so. But we cannot, as NRM, we shouldn't be the ones doing the things.
But a one-off is allowed, like what do you call it, citizen arrest. That one is allowed, but you can't do it regularly.
No,
that's what you mean.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying just a one-off. I'm saying if we think that the police is not competent enough, whatever reason, let's go back and amend the law and say in our system now we allow the army to arrest people. The braggadocio that we are having as NRM, allowing the state agents to do the things
outside the law,
to break the law,
can no longer be defended. Should not be rationalized at all. Now, when we speak like that, then those the powerful people in the state will come now and say, "Don't you hear phone?" And NRM now have reached a level where people have to look over their shoulders. There's something again you have seen of recent, I think, which is deliberate leakage of tapped conversations. Where did we reach here? Because for the state to monitor, to tap my phone, there must be authority of court. What you have seen now, it is becoming modus operandi. If they want, and I think they're using it for blackmail. They tap your conversation with their girlfriend and they leak it. The day you cross their way, they leak it.
Unleash.
And it is like fun now. The state cannot afford to behave like ordinary citizens. The state cannot afford to behave like ordinary citizens. Recently, somebody told me that you're the next one to go to the basement. And I said, okay, I'll go to the basement. So, NRM, we must stop and have introspection whether this is the direction we want to take. But unfortunately, many, as I see, don't want to speak out. People are calculating, hoping for fortunes. Nobody wants to support their fortunes.
I thought when you come to Parliament, already you are in the fortune.
No. Don't you see that Parliament, the reason the law gives Parliament immunity, privileges, is because you should be able to speak up, especially if you are genuine. But look at that Parliament. All these things are going on. Have you had a discussion in Parliament? If you go, the leadership of Parliament say, I want to raise this matter, do you think most likely they will tap your shoulders and say, guy,
sit down.
Sit down. I said the other day on this show again, I said, look at whatever Anita Mong has done, stealing money, doing what, and showing opulence and so on. Is it normal to have the immediate former speaker out of sight for 3 months? And it's not an immediate former speaker who's also a sitting member of Parliament. And that part is not raised on the floor.
And the vice chairman of your party.
Is that normal? So if at that level there can't be due process, there can't be, how can ordinary people expect due process?
Thank you. Oh, pause for now. Derek Wandera, I know the law professor wants to speak, but we shall have him on last.
He says he's itching.
He's itching, but he has been patient. He has been patient. I also tell him to, and he's patient. O says the silence is loud. We have BMK Gift Senior regular listener asking, is this now normal? Abduct police charge.
Which is the order?
Abduct police court. Prison.
Okay. Then the bail, then abduct again.
Bail is not in conversation.
By the way, Oscar, I think in our normal procedure, for example, at a police station, especially if this man has come into the public domain, that somebody was arrested, was abducted, disappeared for 2 weeks or so, and somebody comes up and brings to the police station.
That person should be
the police actually should decline to receive that person.
No, Oscar, adding on what he's saying.
Now you ask, is there any police officer or OC station who can
decline
to receive somebody brought by the military?
No, I received a call from my uncle in the village the other day, who is not really that educated to understand all these proceedings, and he asked me one thing, that now, I think it was an issue of Mwanga Chivumbi. Now you are the lawyers. These people don't differentiate between lawyers and judges. They think we're all the same.
But we're officers of court.
Yes, we're officers of court, but for them to understand that you people, now, if Mwanga Chivumbi has been missing for years and he's brought and taken to police, why didn't they arrest those people who brought him? Why is it that the police, maybe you should go for those police officers who actually received. And for me, that's the...
So you ask, is there a police officer who can have the courage
to do that?
To tell
Mwanga Chivumbi said that all the torture had been recorded with photographs at the police station, but no one submitted this information. So there's a very on microphone.
I'm certainly flabbergasted by the choice of war of the choice.
You are not of
wars.
Easter using big words today.
No,
we have gone to.
You see, I love the way Honorable O chooses his wars, and he chooses them very carefully. On one day he will be fighting with a plate, and on the other he will be embracing it like and I like.
This is a good time to thank Star Cafe. Thank you, Star Cafe. Edgar, how?
They brought Kabalagala.
Yeah, you have some more.
and I like that about him, that he's very careful about the choice of words, the wisdom, but also the way he chooses his wars, his battles. I listened to him when the former speaker was, when everything was happening around. The internet,
he's the only one who has said in public that he went to visit.
Exactly.
The others didn't say in public.
And he that he went to her bedroom.
Yes. And when this war was, when this story was just developing, I remember us applauding him here, and he was saying, let the law take its course and stuff like that. But on a day when Anita is somewhere, maybe not ready, not able to access the public, O will come and say, I went and I visited. And that's, I think, very good countrymanship. Now, it goes without saying, I'm not a legal expert, but I listen. Yesterday I was at Fairway Hotel. The Uganda Law Society released a report on the freedom of press in this country, and I was one of the panelists who were discussing these matters, being a practicing journalist. You see, the story of Dr. Kizza Besigye, the story of Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi,
or Lutalo, or Lukwago,
or Lutale.
Lutale, sorry.
You certainly will see that there is so many political undertones than they are legal. Yeah. And I probably will wonder whether we even could be discussing, we even have the impetus of discussing this matter in a legal way.
Well,
of course, the justices are involved, and we know what they are doing, but probably just parroting the political innuendos and then we have been hearing Dr. Kizza Besigye's complaints from the day he was arrested. I would be not surprised for NRM, for some members of NRM, of course not, to say that Dr. Kizza Besigye is maybe like delaying his own trial, probably because he feels this matter there is a lot of evidence to pin him. But from start, we see a lot of illegalities, even from the way he was arrested or abducted, for instance, from Kenya. There was a lot of legal questions around it. Was there a due process? Does it have to happen this way, regardless of which kind of case you have? I think countries have those binding agreements on how someone can be transferred from their country when arrested on such cases, and these lawyers will be of good help in helping. So you see a case politicized from arrival, and it's the same story that we're still talking about today. And the questions we have against the justice system in the country goes without say. It's not just Obed Kature. It's not just Obed Lutale. It's not just not Kature. Leave my man alone.
He has had his fair share of
leave my man alone. And probably you'll want also to mention him. It's not just him alone. It's not just the Mwanga Chivumbis and stuff like that. You just look at the supporters of Noop, for instance, how the predicament they have gone through. Like you said at the start, 9 of them were released yesterday, and you see the process through which they were released
after 6 years.
After 6 years, and then you are told or forced or whatever to accept that you did this. You committed a crime. So we should, and I've always said maybe at some point we need to pause as a country and just discuss whether we are acting normally or abnormally. And so that means if we are acting abnormally, so our debate should certainly go abnormal. We come and discuss normal stuff.
Don't worry, I will not allow you to discuss
under abnormal circumstances. I mean, it can be a debate. It can be a debate we should have.
No, not here.
Because when we are discussing normal stuff, and honestly,
one day I hear moderated, and Abdu used the big words, and Andrea was a real good journalist. He said, no, you can't use that word on a morning show. So Abdu said, can I withdraw? I was quite interested, and you asked him to withdraw.
Yes, do you know what he said?
Yeah,
he was seated in his chair.
Yeah.
So he said he was mentioning words that I should have been mentioning. He blamed the chair instead.
You're that infectious.
So we must tell you, we shall not discuss.
No, we will. And by the way, I say this because of the presence of the Radical Nuba, the president of the Radical Nuba, from day one, acted abnormal.
And where is he now?
That's another debate. But
where is he now? We should ask you.
Have those issues he raised? Those issues he raised, do they now come to a fore that he actually had a point? There are so many people who call me and say the president of the Law Society actually had a point. And just like using abnormal means and abnormal words to brandish some of the people within the legal system. And right now, some people are calling and sending messages, and for us story writers, they keep telling us, you people, you have not written enough about Semakadi from the time he started and what he was saying and stuff like that. And I was on this show and said, probably Uganda needs a little bit of more 100 Semakadi days to overturn things, and then at the end of the day they settle. To what end? I mean.
Edgar asked you to what end,
but to what end shall we speak normally and we do not achieve anything? To what end can we do?
One could say now that he's not achieving a lot.
You can't say that. I have seen. I can tell you, I've covered and I have spoken to people. I have interviewed many people.
Edgar, at the beginning of the show, wanted to contain Asimwe here by first cocooning him into saying
that is Edgar for you. On any day. On any day. So, Oscar,
finish off and we go for a break.
I think we need to have a super candid conversation on who is in charge and who is not in charge.
Yeah.
And when we come back on air,
and I beg your pardon. And when we come back,
but it's not. He's the president.
Engage in a real hard conversation, hard talk.
And we are going for a break, and we'll come back on air, and you are on the microphone. And you're the law professor in the studio, and I like the way you've been guiding people that there, don't go there. And so, but
now,
for you, I'm the one who will guide you.
Necessary before
Let's stop for a break.
Capital FM.
Welcome back from the break. This is the Capital Gang. If you're following on NBS TV, please continue. I am Oscar Semoyam-Soke with a bevy of topics. As Moses of the Morning Show says, the man has been itching to submit. Law professor. Did you teach Asimwe as well? Or he was not in your class?
Asimwe?
No.
I taught your cohort.
That was
2005 to 2010.
That Makera?
No, UCU, then LDC.
That was at Makera.
No, okay, sure.
But anyways, that's probably right.
But Makera, it's the graduate classes that I taught, LLM for intellectual property.
Right.
I'm going to talk hard.
Don't threaten us.
If you feel...
Be taught by Tabari.
And by the way, before he speaks,
if you feel...
I regret that some lecturers or teachers of law do not tell us certain things, do not tell students certain things, and probably that's why they always think that the lawyer, he says he doesn't believe in lawyers, and it explains probably. They had some of these truths from the students.
Some of his best friends are lawyers. He just says those things on air.
So, dear listeners and the viewers,
so let me also, as you're talking, let me guide you. Is the judiciary in the dock?
And that's what I'm coming to.
Right.
And I've been speaking on that on this show about that. So I'm going to talk hard, and if you feel so much deeply emotional and sentimental, I advise you to turn off.
If you're going to be deeply sentimental and everything, I'll ask you to stop.
Who are.
Okay. If I think you are, as we say in Uganda, if I think you are paining our listeners, I'll ask you to stop. But please continue. Okay. Is the judiciary in the door?
And I want to situate what we are seeing right now from a historical perspective.
Yeah, here we go.
1981. 1981.
Here we go.
1981. There was a case of Kasim Obura, who had been the deputy head of public safety unit, Naguru. It was also a basement of sorts, where they would abduct, torture, and sometimes kill, like it happened in this case. A public safety unit was headed by a man called Ali Towil, a Nubian, a Mutoro of Nubian descent, from Fort Portal City in a place called Wukwali. When the government fell, the public reacted very badly. They didn't loot. They raised his residence, and out of vengeful practice. So Kasim Obura was tried by Justice Odoki, as he then was before he became a judge. He also later at some point became DPP. Now, he was a very powerful police officer, and he made every attempt to frustrate the trial. The assessor, one of the assessors, absented themselves, and there was even an attempt to intimidate witnesses. It took the character of a Justice Odoki. For those of us who know him, we were neighbors when I was growing up down here in Komolo.
As the son of a former judge also, you.
A registrar judge. My dad is a retired judge. So, and for those who have appeared before Justice Odoki, you'll agree that he's a man. He's good-mannered, good-mannered, of good nurture. He steered the matter to full trial and eventual conviction, and unfortunately, Kasim Obura was hanged by this government. Why am I going into that? Trying to frustrate a trial is not very uncommon.
Well, you're saying it is not illegal.
It's not. I mean, I'm going into those legalities too. Well, we've seen when Saddam was being tried. You remember how chaotic the court was? You remember Saddam, his trial? Hussein Habre, former president of Chad, he was tried in Senegal. Many years after he had been overthrown. The trial was very chaotic. Actually, for him, he would kick. He acted very, very unpresidential. Kick the court orderlies, kick the security people. You remember the trial? So, what we are seeing presently is not unprecedented. It's not unprecedented. And I would like to re-echo what I've been saying over time. Politicians should be able, should dialogue, should always have channels of communication, both informal and formal. Politics, since time immemorial, has been a game of horse trading in Bankuwe. So where politicians disagree, and matters are brought before the courts of law. Matters are brought before the courts of law.
You've gone back to law.
Exactly. But the law doesn't operate in a vacuum. The law does not operate in a vacuum. It's a living creature. It's not in the abstract. And it is informed by the politics of the day. And that's why I've been using the term lawfare. When politicians fail to agree and they decide to take their matters to the courts of law, one, I must applaud the state of the Republic of Uganda that they still think the courts of law should be the arbiter of their political differences. Because there are countries in this region, Mr. Honorable Fonopono, you'll agree with me, there are countries in this region that have a quicker and more permanent solution. They simply decapitate you. Did I mention the states that
no, please
do that?
Please don't. I know there are some states that don't want you to go there, but don't mention any
exactly.
states.
So, to the extent that the state in Uganda still believes that their disagreements should be handled in court, is a pro. Now, when matters
fast forward to
matters are taken to the courts, let us give the courts the latitude to decide the matters in accordance with the evidence and the law. And it's incumbent upon all of us, whether the state, actors like him, activists like Mr. Wandera.
Do you call him an activist?
I mean, sometimes it's hard to draw the difference. Even this radical bar, they have turned into a political part of sorts, which I'm disagreed with. Let us... Now, I've seen a lot of bullying towards Justice Baguma. Bullying, proper. And, when it's the state doing the bullying...
Everyone cries out.
Cries at the independence of the judiciary. When activists are bullying the judge, then it is okay. We see every attempt from activists trying to influence the decision of what? Of court. Now,
the one who came out, who went in limping, and came out walking normally.
Well, that is very possible for her age.
Yeah.
The initial shock of going to a basement and finally gaining freedom. You are never systemate settled.
It's her MP. MP for the elderly.
Systemate settled.
Edgar, you ask
sometimes Dr. Miriam the benefit of the doubt.
Sometimes, when he could wake up on, feeling pain in the arm. These things come with age.
When he wakes up feeling pain when he has indulged a bit.
This is a morning show. Please, let's not go there.
I will sue you.
For alleging that you indulge?
So, back...
So I've seen a lot
Basically, what you're saying is let the cases go on.
Go on. Yes. Let the cases go on.
Whichever way.
There are two other courts, the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court. If you disagree with the decision that this court is going to make. So there's another aspect. Why would you deny Dr. Besigye representation from Martha Karua? What value is it really?
But you said we just should leave them to operate the way they operate.
No, I didn't say that. He's an activist. You see, he's even misinterpreting what I'm saying.
I'll sue you. I'll sue you for calling me an activist.
So, what value is in denying Martha Karua? Is the sky going to come down if Martha Karua came and dressed? After all, I don't think she's the very best lawyer. Some of these lawyers representing Besigye are much better than her. She's more of an activist than a courtroom although she served as a chief magistrate at one time, I think, in Kilinyanga. She's more of an activist than a courtroom guru. So the point I would like to make is that in the administration of justice, we, the officers of court, as in the bar, the public, should not be seen to undermine court as well. Undermining court does not necessarily come from state actors. It also comes from... So whatever verdict that will be passed, there are two other courts that will handle. And already, from what is happening, there would be very good grounds of what? Of appeal to pursue. For instance, legal representation. Legal representation of choice. So I'd like to emphasize that channels of communication between political opponents should always be open. Semuji is already out of the country. I hope. He's in the prayers. He's in prayers for.
Has he told you why he's not here? Don't insinuate.
So, anyways.
Now, is the lawyer.
Anyways, let's come back to my vice president. I know the radical bar wishes to pursue things in a particular way, but some of these issues of politics, let's call upon our leaders to dialogue. How many more of Mwanga Chivumbis, of Lukwagos, should we see limping over political disagreements that can be solved over a cup of tea? And I say this because I have it on good record that there were attempts to mediate between these two opposing camps. I think the mediation effort was spearheaded by Conrad Nkotwe.
Where?
That's not in the public domain.
That's not in the public domain. Abdul Katut, I wish Abdul Katut was here. He was.
Is he your legal representation on what we are? The
misinformation.
Yeah. Senior is now telling me. I think he had said something earlier, and now I think this confirms because he has now clearly told me that as the radical new bar, we should invoke political approaches to the legal problems, and I think that is exactly which you don't like.
Where the politics is,
because everything is politics.
What does all this thing arise from? It's arising from what is the word? Because the matter is already before court, and I don't want to mention some of these things. The evidential things. There was a plot. There was a plot to bring down the plane of the president. Now, as to whether
you law professor,
as to whether
law professor,
yes, as to whether it is the persons who are before court who did it is for the courts to determine. But as the Honorable O said, NRM has a history of incorporating its opponents, people who were on the opposite side of things and were plotting against them. And you gave a very good example of the late Honorable General Moses Ali. So the question is, why on this occasion have things taken another turn? And I leave it maybe to OO and other state actors or players to tell us why we are taking a different tangent. Because quite frankly, I don't think this is the NRM that we were sold to for the last 40 years. I beg to submit.
Yes. Opunapano the other day asked if he's now in the opposition. He got his answer. We are coming to conclusion of this topic. We've given it time. What do you take from this discussion, Mr. Simwe Anthony? Or let's get to make a final remark so you speak last on it. Or you've been itching to say something. Say it now. But come to the microphone.
I'm saying... Besja and his group, they have tried to avoid trial first by raising the technicalities of the court martial and this one. And I agree with the lawyer here. These guys intimidate the judiciary. You saw that little guy, that young guy, the magistrate, who gave Matembe bail.
Yeah.
When she had just
by a few hours.
She was transferred.
And shouldn't they be transferred?
Transfers are regular in the judiciary.
It's no more. By the message it's sent at the timing.
In that transfer, I think 12 magistrates were affected.
Yes.
Were they all attending to political cases?
4 of them.
So the superficiality with which...
But let
him finish. You're going to speak last.
Submission.
Anthony Asime, you're going to speak last.
Let them not try to frustrate the judicial process. And I'm saying they are succeeding, or they have succeeded, because of our own mistakes on the side of government, the NRA particularly, the leaders. Instead of these fellows are already having a long rope, why do you add another rope? By saying things that don't help the prosecution, don't help the trial. Why act like now? If we have arrested Mwanga Kivumbi, why hold him for 3 weeks? And the man comes and alleges that you tortured him, even because none of us was there. So people will believe what he's saying because of the circumstances under which you arrested him or held him. So the state actors, we must not help these people to gain sympathy, and yet we are unable. We are unable to rebut what they are saying. Like now, those of us who speak, how can I speak confidently that Mwanga Kivumbi was not tortured? Because I'm not there and nobody is providing that information. But if he was at a police station for all these 3 weeks, where his relatives go to visit him, he wouldn't be doing that. So, we should not, the police, the army, intelligence services should not aid. And at least, of course, the president shouldn't aid them by giving statements which appear to be covering up the illegalities.
Okay. Finally, Anthony Asime, Vice President of Uganda Law Society.
I'm glad that the majority, if not everyone here, on this show, in that discussion, agree that whatever is happening is rather abnormal. But summing up,
agree, yes, abnormal, but not in your line of thinking. They have shown where it's abnormal, but perhaps not very much in your line of thinking.
We've consistently mentioned all these things right from the beginning. And summing up all this, I want to say this, that where we are standing right now, I would want to refer to it as we're in a constitutional crisis, where people fear to say this because they want to pretend that we are following processes, constitutional processes. We're in a constitutional democracy where everything is provided for the laws. But in a situation where almost each and every written law is breached, is disrespected by none other than the people in authority, where does that leave a Ugandan and not a Ugandan? Because that means people begin taking the law into their hands. At the end of the day, people no longer have confidence. They no longer believe in the law. We are continuously seeing executive overreach, involvement of the military into civilian affairs. What is saying that even a judicial officer might fear to make a decision because of what they see, what the president has said, what will happen. Someone is granted bail today, the next day they are, abducted violently. Unfortunately, the institutions that should be safeguarding these constitutional rights, these procedures, being the judiciary, has failed to do their work. In 2007, if you remember, when we had the Black Mamba attack, the High Court, I think it was still Dr. Kizabesije who was granted bail, then picked from court. We saw a unified legal profession where the judiciary and the bar all stood up to the executive and said, no, enough is enough. But are we able to see something like that today? It can't happen now because it's not the leadership.
It can't.
The challenge is
it can't happen under your leadership.
The challenge is we're having a judiciary which has continuously, they are complicit. They are the ones aiding. Or has been telling us, and he says this. It's almost obvious that once someone has been abducted, taken to police, even you said it, Prof, you're taken to court, it is automatic that will be sent to prison, whether I like it or not. That is why the president will stand up and say, why should people grant bail? And the following day, say judicial officer denying bail, even when someone says I've satisfied every condition. But what will the person think? They will think it's because of the speech of the president, not because of the judicial officer. So we need to reflect as a country and call these people to action to do their part.
And remind Edgar Tabaro here that your government came in with a landslide victory, same like the way NRM came in.
Definitely.
Maybe it can. Maybe it can.
We like
the president will return at the right time.
In our vernaculars, we add, if he's a man.
And have you seen our digital transformation agenda? We are managing digitally.
Derek Wanda. I'm with you, Anthony Asima. I support
Anthony Asima on Radical.
On Law Society.
On Radical is
anyone in the Law
Society. What has it achieved?
No, we've achieved a lot and we still achieve.
Wait for your delegates conference.
Derek Wanda, did you vote for LC1?
On the voting day, I was very active, went and did my voter verification, and went through all the processes.
And by then you'd been allowed to work, so you did.
Yes, but I didn't. Instead, I didn't vote because just the next village to mine, there was chaos. So as a journalist, you are then choosing between delivering the story or delivering your constitutional or delivering. So I had to run away. Unfortunately, by the time I came back, the voting had already taken place. But I should say that I observed on very many villages from where I come from that you would actually compare the kind of gravity and enthusiasm in the voting patterns with that of the president. And you would just wonder, mere LC1. In my view again, before you interject, Honorable,
you continue your view.
I feel the LC1 election is more important than the president. And I could see it.
Really?
Yeah. It's very, very, very important. Because, there are so many people who have never even, come to the president, close to the president, to just even look. There, for instance, in my village in Busia, there are so many people who don't have TVs and probably have never even seen the man on TV. But you LC1, if you get any problem in the middle of the night, you end up at the LC1. If you have any squabbles within your family and stuff like that, the person who settles those issues firsthand is the LC1. So that's how important it is. In that.
So why were there squabbles in the next village?
By the way, not just one or two or three. There were quite many. There was a lot of chaos.
Why?
A lot of chaos in terms of crisscrossing villages. I think there was also a problem with demarcation of villages, that people who do not know where the boundaries of the villages are, and instead end up into the next village thinking that's their village, and that causes a lot of commotion with.
Very strange, because we've known these elections for a while; they've been postponed, and then when the dates were set, public holiday as well.
Yeah, these elections have been postponed since I think 2020, because of money, especially also the village council elections and stuff like that have been postponed because of money issues and things like that. That doesn't necessarily mean that there was a lot of preparation. Postponement means the Electoral Commission doesn't have money to prepare for these elections. So that certainly there's not going to be any kind of preparation. The preparation started, I think, just at the tail end of the general elections in early this year, and only got the money anywhere around April or something like that. And that's when they went for updating the village registers and stuff like that. For me, I think maybe Electoral Commission has a lot of work to do, because I know for sure that there are villages that had over 2,000 voters, and there are villages also that had 500. The law provides for 50 to 70 households who are estimated to be anywhere between 500 to 1,000 voters. And if the number goes beyond that, the Electoral Commission is supposed to divide those villages. But by the mere fact that some villages had those overwhelming numbers. It means like there is a lot to be done, even with the increase in the number of villages. In the 2021 elections, we had 68,000. Now we have 71,000. But there are still people who came out to say, my village has 1,900 voters. And I'm like, no, that village should be divided. So because of those small nitty-gritties and stuff like that, and the enthusiasm with which these LC1 elections have been, I think there is a lot for EC to go into an introspection and prepare better for the next for the next election.
We're about to stop for a break, but Anthony here, Anthony Asime, did you vote LC1?
He did.
And where did you vote?
He did.
He did not.
He did. I know
You're saying he did not.
I know these elites.
Yeah.
And particularly the radical.
The radical. Let him answer for
those
himself.
things are beneath them.
You'll be shocked that I actually did. And also I participated in moving around to observe the happenings.
I've switched off.
No, because as I should be, because at the end of the day, there needs to be accountability. You realize, even for the presidential elections, we're the only ones who did election observation after most people were censured, and we're the only ones who have so far produced a report, by the way, and we're about to produce one also for the LC1 elections. But I can't agree more with what is said. But I think the other issue
with Derek here.
Yes, the other issue I would say is the fact that some of these very important aspects of citizenry participation have been reduced to the preparation is really, not enough. I believe also people are not sensitized enough. People are not. It's like we're always not ready for these processes. I notice where people would come to vote and then there are issues with the registers and probably, like Derek said, there are so many changes that have happened. Villages divided, others have been created since last time, and people have not even been notified. They don't even know that they fall in a different village from the other village. So it somehow differentiates some people, Ugandans, who would like to participate. And like I said, this is the most important because it's at the grassroots that the people have first contact with their people, unlike the big politicians, the OOs and the parliamentarians who, sometimes come once. So I still believe as a country we need to do more to empower these islands. But then again, more important for me, where I need to go, apart from the election, is the role of these local council officials.
Stop for a break, and then when we stop, I'll still get you back on this one, and also ask you about maybe how does the Law Society work with LC1 leaders. But let's stop for a break first.
All right.
Welcome back from the break. I am Oscar Semoyam Soke, and now we've tuned into LC1 elections. Widely held. It's good that people in the studio have a high opinion of the LC1 leaders. So before we went into the break, Anthony Asime, you said you monitored and you have agreed with Derek that some good, some not so good. And then I said, so what is the role of the Law Society with the LC1? Is the LC1, do you see as a lawyer, do you see the LC1 as important as Derek has outlined?
Oh, yeah. LC1s are ultimately the most important structures that we should focus on, and we've been giving them focus. I think in some areas, we run the legal aid project of Uganda Society because we ultimately know not every Ugandan can afford services of a lawyer. And we also know the importance of these local council structures. If you go to our laws, you realize in some cases, LC courts are the courts of first instance. Unfortunately, we've had a country where even when people are voted into these offices, their capacity is not, grown. They are not trained. These are local people. There are no specific qualifications for them, and they're supposed to sit as a court, but they don't even know what to do. So we've been involved in. It's been a challenge because the people have been in those offices. You know what has been happening. Apart from the administrative extensions of their terms of office, there are so many questions around them sitting as a court and the implication of their decisions. So why we're so keen on ensuring that this process goes on very well, and we immediately begin working with them, because on our own, as the National Bar Association, we are taking it upon ourselves to actually train them. In some areas, we've already started in the West Nile. We've already even trained those ones who have been voted into. Unfortunately, our interventions are donor funded, because we do not get funding from government to do this, even when we are helping them with this. But like Derek was saying, at every local level, anything that happens, by the way, even a murder case, these people first go to the LC chairperson, anything. And you imagine the importance of empowering these people to ensure that probably even the challenges we are having, there are some cases that are taken to court. That shouldn't be going there. That should be resolved at that level. But everyone will run to police. Then you see the police, overwhelmed and taking advantage of some of these people. Yet there are structures that can be utilized. So that is how important we value these LC structures. That is why we put them at the forefront of ensuring that, because they are, at the grassroots, they are directly dealing with the citizens, with the people. By the time someone gets to their member of parliament or to a district chairperson, wherever, the issues can be best handled from that level. So we are involved in building their capacity, ensuring that they actually do that what they're supposed to be doing, and they're of much value. And I'm hoping that even our government looks at this in that same manner and invest a lot in those structures.
Yeah. Edgar Tabaro, BMK Gift Senior on X, formerly Twitter, says Edgar Tabaro has just said Martha Wangari Karua served as Kenya's. You were not right. He says she was Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs and never been Chief Justice of anything.
No, I said Chief Magistrate of Kirinyanga. Tell BMK to pay attention. She was Chief Magistrate of Kirinyanga when she resigned to go into activism.
Right.
And as Minister of Justice, she was just doing the political oversight. In Kenya, the position of Attorney General, like that of Uganda, is one that handles technicalities.
Right.
And she's a guru. She's a senior counsel, recognized for activism, not being a guru in the courtroom. And I dare say there are many lawyers on the Vestige's team, some of whom I taught, who are much better than her. Aaron Kiza is one of them.
Right.
So Kiza Vestige is not really lacking competent representation.
Prof, do you know where Aaron Kiza is now? Do you know where he is now?
Where is he?
The man is equally in exile. You didn't see his post? He ran away because he was also being intimidated the same way.
I'm not aware he's a coward.
You're not aware?
I'm not aware he's a coward.
You should talk to him.
I'm not aware he's a coward.
Edgar Tabaro, be mindful of those accusations, because I also know where you ran away from. But
those ones are lethal.
LC1, did you vote?
No, I didn't vote. I did vote, and for
after accusing Asima of being elitist.
No, not for being elite. I am registered as a voter in Kampala Central, but I reside in Machindie. Is it Machindie West?
You'd have wanted to vote in Machindie.
No, I would have wanted to vote. I'd have wanted to vote in Machindie, but now I reside in Muyenga. Now it was divided into 3 parishes: Bukasa, Muyenga 1, and Muyenga 2. So I didn't know where I belonged, and my interest would have been in the parish where I'm told he eventually won. Yasin Omar, Yasin Omar is ever litigating. Is always, but he's already, I think, is chairman of some. Much in the LC3, but also came at the whatever. What did he?
I don't know. So you can say,
elite.
Yes.
Who's
law professor
who's not well informed
about his own local issues.
Yes, and I want to qualify. Doesn't know where to vote.
I'd like to qualify further that next time I'll be more organized and I'll go vote in Kijura, the village where I intend to retire, rather than where I'm residing.
So please,
and I was inspired by a colleague. I was inspired by a colleague called Tom Mbalinda. Tom Mbalinda.
I teach with him at LDC.
You teach with him at LDC. Tom Mbalinda, isn't he head of the subject?
Yes.
Yeah, he's one of those respected in the legal profession. He drove to their village in Bigodi to go and vote. And I think, we have another topic that we're supposed to talk about, cleaning. When it comes to cleaning and voting for LOC, I'm going to go back to the village and leave these elites of Kampala.
I must say in Chigo, our chairman won, so we are happy. We need to empower him. He's called Mr. Ngonswa, and he won the vote. Okay. But did you vote?
Yes, I did.
Where?
I did not just vote. I campaigned for candidates.
They campaigned for the candidates.
Actually, it's just that I'm off the grid, the educated people and many business people. The Electoral Commission did a roadmap in 2024. It was shared by all stakeholders, especially political parties. NRM did actually conduct primaries for LC1 chairpersons in 2025 before for MPs. That was around April, May, or June there. So we have had candidates for the last 1 year. People holding the NRM flag for LC1 chairpersons. I think other parties did a similar, not to NRM level. So Parliament did give us, as members of Parliament, after tribute to General Moses Sari, we adjourned to enable us to go and participate. And so I did travel from Kono to Mulanda. In Mukono, I was very active because I knew our candidates, especially the villages surrounding me, and supporting them.
Where did you vote? In Mukono or Mulanda?
In Mulanda.
Okay.
Because the law actually says LC1 voting is by ordinary residents, not by the registration of the national election. So you can be a registered voter for the main election in Kasero Kololo here, but if you ordinarily reside in Bukasa, in Muyenga, you can go and register there and vote. And so, a week before that election, the Electoral Commission actually conducted update of registers for purposes of local council 1 election. 5 days. So I think many of these educated people are too busy, they did not participate. And it was upon that updated register that you are allowed to be a voter. And so for me, I went home, I updated my status, and I voted. The enthusiasm, yes, LC1 is very important, as my colleagues have said. Just leave alone you have issues. Take a case of government programs. There's no government program, be it a new road, a new school, that does not go via LC1 committee. So it is a very important, and unfortunately,
buying land, sureties in courts.
Like in the villages, where land is not titled, there's no way you can transfer land, there's no way you can sell. You can't even buy a goat and move it with it to another village without letting the LC1 chairperson know that you bought this goat from Ofono and you're taking it to Asime there. It is not possible. So they are very, very critical. PDM, to register for PDM, to register for Myogo, to register for this, health, for the Ministry of Health to deliver health kits through the village health teams. They need the chairman, LC1, and his committee or her committee to nominate for you that VHT team. So they are very, very important committees. So the enthusiasm, I think the turnout was much higher than the presidential. If you just go by the register and the attendance, and because it requires that voters congregate once for the 2-3 hours, so you can physically see the turnout. And because they are voting for people who directly deal with them, there's a lot of interest, particularly on character. If you cheat, the campaigns are open, they tell you directly. And I've seen the villagers have no fear of repercussion. They can dress down an incumbent chairman oh, you're a powerful person from Kampala who wants to tell them what to do. They disagree with you then. But what I saw this time is the money. Money, because I think the government has promised to raise the money from 10,000 that they've been getting to about 100,000. That's partly brought the competitiveness in that election. Two, these deals they do, which amounts actually to extortion. Every dispute they mediate.
Some of them.
The land, the land sales and so on. The stamp. I had one was beaten and they removed the 3 teeth and said that even if you have removed my teeth, I now have the stamp. I'm now the one going to send for people to go and borrow money from SACCOs, from banks. So that's the figure with which.
I'm told there's another one who said the stamp can only go to my brother.
Yes.
That's how powerful that stamp is.
Then you interrupt somebody bribery, real amount of bribery. He brought a bull and tied across the road from the polling station. And he said his agents to whisper, if you vote for me, if you vote for our candidate, you are going to slaughter that bull. And indeed, when he won, he gave them the bull, they ate. We members of parliament, particularly direct constituencies and women members of parliament, because this is the critical political network, there are MPs who took out revenge. If you are an LC or you are campaigning and you not support them in that village, they put money against you. So there was a lot of money. Or if I want to buttress my support for 2031, you must ensure that this LC1, the majority of them, ally with you. So they supported them. Of course, there were irregularities. I am told in the constituency where my young brother
the way you say, of course, there were irregularities.
Yes. My brother Seranja Solomon, where he ran this former journalist, TV journalist, that they took 3 costas from Butambala. Noop took 3 costas from Butambala to go and defeat him. They brought them in the night, drank tea somewhere. So you can, and I think it was his mistake, of course, because you cannot campaign and then say, I want to run for parliament in 2031. You are raising the antennas of
that you are not going to serve them. You are serving yourself.
Yes. So you are raising the antenna of your opponents. So they must put effort against. That's why I think he escaped.
Those habits we learned them from SEC elections of importing voters.
Well,
even your election, you were worried about it,
Yes, I was worried because my opponent tried
to bring the buses.
To bring the buses. No, he did bring. Yeah, he gave them buses, but also paid accommodation. And paid for them accommodation.
And your opponent had the means to do that.
Yeah, he was a minister. And that's why I tell people, that minister, I don't think you know him by name. I don't think so.
Yeah.
He was not known by name, even in parliament there. You can't compete with the phone who's a household name, whether for good or for bad. But you can't. So cheating. In another village, I saw on the TV, where they physically lifted, there were 2 candidates, they physically lifted a man from the short shoe, and put him on. There are 2 gangs. They lifted both candidates and swapped the lines. Took photographs, and then they declared.
Is there an appeal system for
yes, there's an appeal.
LC?
By the way, because of those infractions, elections did not take place in a little more than 1,000 villages of the 72,000. And the Electoral Commission cancelled, or even if they took, but complaints came quickly, the Electoral Commission nullified. So they are going to, I think they're going to...
Seeing how we usually have problems in elections, 1,000 is not such a big number.
1,000
in comparison to 71,000.
I'm surprised. First of all, the process of creating a village is not by the Electoral Commission. It is the sub-county. Actually, the parish proposes with the sub-county. The sub-county, if it confirms, forwards it to the district. Now, what could have happened was that at the parish sub-county district, they create villages, but they don't inform the Ministry of Local Government. and the Electoral Commission. Now, them on the ground, they know our village is divided. But up, the Electoral Commission is not aware. That could be one of the reasons that people did not know their villages. But also, there are people who create the villages and to ward off opponents. They say, now for you are in the other village, when they know that village hasn't been gazetted. So for you, you stay there thinking, then you only get to know on the polling day that the village so created actually doesn't exist in the law. So that could be probably one of the mistakes or the reasons people didn't know their villages. But I think the turn-up was good. Overall, there's a man who fainted in the village next to the speaker, Obot. He slaughtered a cow. His brother was running. He borrowed money. When his brother lost, he fainted. And he didn't wake up. Yes.
Oh, dear.
He invested a lot of money for his brother as a candidate. He donated the bull to voters. Voters ate the bull. But they didn't give his brother.
Damn. Very typical people, from very ungrateful.
So the man that fainted, collapsed,
died.
Yes. But why did
they got the cow before winning the election?
It was a campaign tool.
Yeah, no, you say
It was buying off
how will we know that you will give us? Give us now.
And usually they don't represent the entire constituency. There's just some noisy.
You have a saying that play around with our stomachs, not with our brains. How do you say it in the Adana?
No.
So,
final sentence on that one.
Enthusiasm is good. If the government has promised to raise their emolument, I think it's a good thing.
That's a problem.
It's a good thing. But
an opportunity is Oscar is seeing a problem.
Yeah, because you don't have the money.
For me, the kind of the Sewanjas, Batka Koza in Luero, that's zero.
Yeah, zero.
It's a good thing for people who have retired. I think we need to deliberately encourage, for example, retired civil servants
to take on
a village. In my village, I encouraged one retired headmaster of a primary school, and we won. And I think if we have people like those, we should also encourage those retired people and encourage the electoral
so that
commission.
they build some structures.
Yeah. Actually, the electoral commission should, even for the local polling officials, I think the electoral commission should go out deliberately to look for retired public servants. Because if you have a retired teacher, you have a retired headmaster, you have a
hopefully they have good integrity.
Yes. I think even this cheating of the main election, where people come and give somebody 20,000 to switch results.
Someone's complaining about it here on X. But Ofono Pondo, just these 10 minutes, what about cleaning? Did you clean as well last Saturday? And where did you clean?
It found me in Toro.
Yeah.
I saw that in my immediate compound there was no rubbish. Our village is so little. I actually drove to Toro town and I cleaned the market. Yeah.
And have you suffered? What lessons can you take from that cleaning exercise?
I think we need better preparation. We need to let people know in time so that, for example, protective gear, people can acquire, even just a capera. You have a capera which you can use for.
But that's on National Cleaning Day. But did people take lessons? Will they continue cleaning?
I hope so. Because there was enthusiasm. I remember somebody was saying, you, the lawyers here, they are saying we pay tax, I don't know what. Where's the law which this is forced labor?
Forced labor.
And at least on our radios in Toro, I had people saying, we are not going to wait for the law to clean our places. You talk in the campaign that you want the law. The chairman there in Toro, for example, the chairman LC5, announced at another meeting after that, he said they are now going to pass a bylaw. And he said, I am even going to add, every home must have a plate stand, cup stand, where when you wash your plates, you dry. You must have a pit latrine. You must have a pit where you throw your rubbish and sorting. He says he's going to make that. And I think
we used to have these things.
We used to have those things my father was a chief. And he would beat people.
You're not allowed to say.
At that time, beating was normal. for chiefs to beat you.
You're not allowed to say which government your father was.
No, my father.
It was a remnant of the colonial
administration. My father was a
World
War II veteran, and by then, many of them, when they returned, they made them chiefs.
Yeah.
So my father became a chief in 1948.
Edgar, did you clean? We are running out of minutes.
Yes, I did. I did participate in cleaning.
What lessons have you learned?
I drove through the same place this morning, and
You need another clean.
No. The streets look still meticulously clean. 1 week after cleaning, so I can imagine. If we make it regular, as the government has indicated, on a monthly basis, I think we're going to see...
Does the government need to regulate it? We've not been inspired to continue cleaning?
No, I think the lockdown is for good purposes. Of course, there are many legalities. The likes of my VP here will raise forced labor and what have you. But I think the initiative is good.
Yeah,
the initiative is very good.
Right.
And we had an expert here from the Ministry of Health. And he said they were benchmarking. And I remember talking about Burundi, a very poor country, but is able to keep very clean urban centers. So it's maybe going forward to make it more sustainable. We should also invite partners like corporate bodies to come and do corporate social responsibility, provide the PPEs, provide also, we need maybe, what are they called? Are they called dumpers? These rollies to dumpers, because the molds of rubbish that were collected are still uncollected.
Exactly.
So we need, for sustainability, then also we need the aspect of separating.
No, that's where the illness
separating biodegradable and non-biodegradable.
I think, as you said, Oscar, we need to teach people sorting rubbish at the household.
At the household, yeah. So that it makes it easier. It makes it
Anthony,
environmentally
did you clean?
Yes. Personally, I clean almost on a daily.
As it should be.
As it should be.
Yeah.
I don't have, and I've taught my little kids to also do that. I don't have to wait for that day to clean. But the main issue really is...
I am a school manager and we say clean every day.
And the issue is, like he's saying, if some of these aspects are to be turned into government policy, let it be clear. I remember there are two confusing communications, one by the Prime Minister and another by police, and that alone causes some kind of friction. I think the people appreciate and understand that it's a good thing. But again, the other concern, he said the rubbish. Yesterday I saw there's a lady from some village who went and came with a truck and packed all that rubbish and went and, said, are you people? It was a good thing, but now this rubbish is actually choking us. She took it to the office of the mayor and poured it there and said, no, you guys didn't have a plan. So let it be a comprehensive plan with everything. And I saw it was remedial. And the issue is, okay, now we've collected the rubbish. I was moving around the whole week. The hips of the rubbish. And the moment it rained, there's a day it rained, it was terrible. It became more of a disaster. So let it be properly planned. Let's have a clear structure of, if the rubbish is collected, we're talking about separating. Do these people know someone is going to get a bottle, put it to the cavera?
They kind of know, but they don't know where to take it.
No, they don't know.
So it needs proper planning.
We need and also enlightenment.
Guys, they kind of know. If you go back to the village,
we are the
initiative.
But in the village, they'll tell you what to ban, what not to ban, what you should have for farming purposes. They know. It's just not having facilities. But
not like, I think Mutawaz is done this to cane people.
Yeah.
Which place is that?
In Ruengo. But Mutawaz is a presidential advisor. He's still around.
Who's caning them?
Derek Wandera, the Lord Mayor of Kampala has spoken well on and saying it's good now the government has seen the need, because KCCA has been overwhelmed and they've been shouting about it and they need help.
Yeah, this is an initiative that should have started like in yesteryears.
It was there previously.
Challenge is we react sometimes maybe a little bit late or something, but nonetheless the start is good. We should have more communication. I think government should use more of the media houses like Capital, like where I work and stuff like that, like Monitor, like KFM, like NTV, to make sure that that the information out there is not forceful, that you have to be harangued,
Yeah,
because police was beating people. The police
injected themselves in
and then they are caning people, and yet this is
for what reason?
Because they find you walking. Why are you not picking rubbish? Why they act like class monitors of our schools? Prefects. They find you moving around. Now there's this
don't
rubbish.
Say bad things about schools, please.
No, I can't say. They begin whipping people. I think
it was unnecessary.
And yesterday I was speaking to one of the officers who came actually to in that dialogue of press freedom, and was telling me those officers have been actually reprimanded. They were arrested. They were picked and taken. And I think because they also lack information, they should prevent people from moving. Yeah. But they shouldn't
even pretend. The majority of people wanted to clean.
Yeah, so I think
moving to clean.
Yeah, there's certainly need for.
Would have gone to Mulanda to clean.
I want to come and clean.
Yeah, there's certainly need.
Thank you so much,
enough information.
Listeners of the Capital Gang. Thank you, Derek Wandera. There's Donato Owor here says this has been the best panel for this conversation. The two legal brains, Oo and Wandera, are just superb. I don't know what he's saying about Asimu and Tabaro, but there's information there. So thank you, Star Cafe, for powering.
Asimu and Tabaro agreed. It's just we are disagreed on matters.
Olara Otunu, we wish him the best. Thank you, Star Cafe.
One of the finest.
Honorable Fonopondo, thank you so much. Edgar Tabaro, thank you so much. Radical New Bar, Anthony Asimwe, thank you for your.
He's not radical. He's not radical. That's why.
If you've been watching on TV, continue watching. I am Oscar Semwe Amsoke, and I shall see you next week.
Should be.